Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Gage Oxley. I'm under the impression I can be heard. I'm in a basement, so I do apologise. Yes, that is right. I am being heard. Lovely. Well, you've just joined me for the live premiere of Limelight. Do forgive me. I am looking like I'm in a basement. It's the only place in Leeds that I think is actually cold, so I do apologise for the looks of this. However, I am with the brilliant and very talented Bruce Herblin Earl, who is with me here. Hello, Bruce. How are you doing?
Good to see you, Gage. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm alive and warm.
Mm-hmm.
What have you been up to? Huh?
I like your jacket that you're wearing.
You know what? Yeah, this is the thing that's making me warm, though. This is the problem. I've done it to myself. Now, the thing is, Bruce, we have just watched the brilliant performance of yours in Limelight. You watched it live as well with us.
For the first time?
For the first time ever. Oh my God. For people who are watching this live with us now, welcome. Please do feel free to put your comments in the comments box for questions. We will answer them to Bruce. And for those watching live who've just watched Limelight, I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it and you're not watching this live, it is going to be available on Amazon Prime in the UK and US on September the 4th, and Japan and Germany later on in the year. So I hope you enjoy it. Bruce, I want to start with what did you think? What was that experience like for you watching that with your family?
They kept giving me little looks in their little I think this is the first time that they've seen me kind of act and do something of this kind of like style and genre. And they were surprised, you know?
Yeah.
It's always a good feeling when you pleasantly surprise your parents. And you know, I just left them. I'm upstairs. They're all downstairs now. But I just left them, and they're all chilling. They they loved it. They loved it, and I couldn't be happier.
Brilliant. What was their reaction to the C word? Was that like a brilliant? Yeah.
And yeah, man, congratulations, man. Everyone did such an awesome job.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, really grateful right now. Really appreciative. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And also, Bruce, you mentioned the fabulous cast and crew of this film and of the entire project. I would be upstairs in this beautiful floral space. However, we've been banished to the basement because of signal issues. But Sian Carey, who's usually on broadcast, who was joined us last week, she's here with our cast and crew in the space. Hello, everyone.
What's up, guys?
That's where I should be. But no, I'm banished to this like creepy
with a gin tonic.
Hello, everyone. So that is our fabulous crew who are all social distancing before anyone gets smarty. But yeah, they are so amazing. And for those watching, everyone who worked on this project did it voluntarily. We're all young people. We do it with no money. And so that film was made by pure love. If you've got any questions for Bruce, please do put them in the comments box and we will ask them to Bruce. Bruce, you had to do a little bit of script writing for this one. What was that like? You did a little bit of chatting with, you know, in French. You worked with your mum, who was on the other side of the phone call. How was that for you?
She is, yeah, that's my mum. It was great. You know, she was well up for being involved. And I wrote a little scene between Nils and his mum, just to give it that kind of emotional edge and that emotional motivation. And I guess, you know, if he doesn't get this role, he's out the country. So it just kind of ups the stakes for him in a way that is, I guess you could say, a little bit personal to me. And you allowed me to do it, and I came with this suggestion, and was really happy that you kind of said, just go for it and write me something, and then I'll see what it's like. And it was all right, man. It was all right.
Well, do you know what? We had a record number of people watching that live. We had at its peak, I think we had about 50 people in watching that live. So people and you know, seeing the comments here, Matt Roy, thank you so much. And there was another one who I'm so sorry if I'm butchering your name, but Julia Alessandro, so lovely. Thank you so much for all your really nice comments. Bruce, that speech, I have to talk about it. It's like 4 minutes long, one continuous take. You never stop. How mad was that? Was that like a real intimidating moment for you to have to do that?
Crazy.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to learn, to be fair.
Mhm.
And actually, it's mostly just a bit of gibberish. It's not really, but I had to kind of make sense of it all in a way that made sense to me, I guess.
Mhm.
It's a super powerful speech, and one that's kind of relevant to today.
So relevant. Yeah.
Now more than ever, really.
Yeah.
And it was nice on the day you let me play with it as well. You let me add some bits in and take some bits out, or, you were really like, you weren't very strict on like what you kind of wanted from me, which is nice. It took really pressure off of me of trying to perform the monologue right, rather than performing it I felt very able to kind of do what I want with it. And
you stormed it. You were so good. For people watching, let us know what you thought about that monologue. If you're not watching it for the second time already, because it's stupendously good. I'm so proud of that. And what an explosive end to the season, to the series of Light. Have you managed to find time in your busy schedule to watch any of the other episodes yet? Are you going to binge that later?
I did. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen Starlight and Jack Parr's episode.
Yeah,
Green Light. Love them, mate. Love them. You've got a nice little anthology series going on, and
you do.
Do I hear there's a season 2 happening?
Oh, yeah. I think that's something that I've heard on the grapevine. That's going to happen. How are you? Do we have any tidbits from you about that? Any spoilers? Well, are you going to keep stum?
We could be. Sorry, look, there's a tear down my cheek. Do you see that?
I can't.
That's not a tear. That's sweat.
Great.
Yeah, we might be doing a little something.
Yeah,
we might be writing a little something.
We might be
to continue Niels' journey. Not that he really has much of one right now, because he's about to go down and visit the police station, I think, after that little episode.
Just a bit, but do you know what? I think we've got quite a few more stories to tell with Niels. I think his character's not quite finished. We've got a question here from Tourmaline Films. When acting, do you prefer to be the hero or the villain?
If I had a choice, which I don't usually, being the bad guy is pretty fun. Being the hero is equally as sexy. I'm kidding. I love it. They both bring different things for different reasons, I think. I don't really get to play the villain a lot. I don't think I've ever played a villain before.
Do you consider Niels to be a villain?
I feel like he's just someone who's in a real struggle with himself, and in a place where he's definitely not thinking before act. Everything's really, really impulsive. Yeah. But he believes that this is the right situation to make these people believe what he's feeling. And the only way he does that, he doesn't even achieve that with the monologue. They're like, all right, what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
And I think from that moment, he just impulse kills. The poor guy.
Do you feel like, because obviously Niels being an actor and coming into this world as someone who's really desperate for a role, do you feel like you relate to him quite a lot?
100%. 100%. You can all. I think every actor that's out there can relate to that desperation. Maybe not on Niels' level. But you get a feeling that maybe it's not. He's been desperate for a long time, and it's just in that particular instance, he's just had enough of it. He's enough of being rejected, and he's also had enough with this fucking world that he's living in.
Yeah,
and I think we come together quite nicely, especially in that monologue.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we wrote this, because we wrote this what seemingly a world ago, because we've just had a global pandemic in the middle of it, and we wrote this back when in the UK there was the general election between the Conservatives and Labour seemingly, and the Conservatives won by a landslide, and I felt really frustrated by it, and I felt like people just weren't seeing the austerity and the pain and the suffering of the unheard. And I think that's all he wants, isn't it? He just wants to be heard. And when we filmed this back in March in the UK, and just to give some kind of historical kind of looking at what actually happened, we were on set when the lockdown came into place, and we then reshot it again in June, and it still felt potentially even more relevant, I think, didn't it? What was that like for you, filming it in March and then literally having to turn off and stop midway through without completing it, without finishing it, and then picking it back up again months down the line?
Sure. Well, I wasn't working. I was completely free. So in that aspect, I was good. But in terms of the preparation, I did a ton before we got to day one on the first time we went to go shoot it. And I just felt, and we shot that day, I think it was the day we shot the monologue.
Yeah. And
then after that, we all went home and we were expected to turn up the next day and film the rest of the short. Mm-hmm. And when that didn't happen, I was like, okay, well, I get the opportunity to do this again at some point in the future.
Mm-hmm.
What do I regret not doing in the first place? But also, like, how did I feel in that moment? Because when I went back to do it again, I felt like it was a completely different vibe. Anyway, it was like a different scene. It was like I was saying different words, and it was really interesting having what was it, like 2 months break?
Yeah.
1 month?
No, 3 months.
3 months break.
Time doesn't exist.
I already knew all the lines and stuff. So like the lines were just sitting in my head. I wasn't going over them and rehearsing. I didn't actually do that too much on the second time we went to go shoot, because I knew if I did, I think I'd get in my head about it, and I'd tell myself that I didn't know the lines when really I did. It was just a bit of a blessing in disguise, really, to get the opportunity to do something again, and then have the continuous flow from it with the next day as well. It was great, and you were up for completely reshooting everything, which was like completely fine by me, fine by me,
and by everyone else as well. And we've just got a comment here from Lola. Lola says, "Congrats, Bruce. I already loved you in Wretched Things, and now you have amazed me once again with your talent. How did you get involved with Oxygen? And what do you love?" I'll start that one again. And what do you love the most about filming with them? Oh, Lola, thank you. I'll be adding this response to my resume. I'll be adding this to my show reel.
Hi, Lola. How did I get involved with Oxygen? Well, when I was 17, just about to turn 18, I was on a casting website, and I think Gage posted an application for a film that he wanted to cast. And I applied, and I sent in a monologue. It was just, I think Gage asked me just to do anything. I did one about I think it was my brother. It's from Skins. And at the end of the monologue, you find out the brother that he's talking about and admiring so much died, when he was young.
Yeah.
And it got you.
It did. It hooked me in. I was like, Bruce, come to Leeds now, please. We need you.
And then, I went to go and shoot a little thing called The Pursuit of Normality.
Yeah.
A little feature film. And it hasn't ended up coming out yet. I think you are sitting on that material, aren't you?
I certainly am. It's on a massive hard drive, right on my desk.
For good reasons.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not like,
it doesn't really need to see the light of day, let's be honest.
What I'd like to think is, like, when I'm famous, when I'm going to go like collect my Oscar, and maybe for you as well, we can like do like a special limited release and be like, hey folks, look at this, when Bruce Herbal was 17 and Gage Oxley was 18. Oh, we could
when you do that, and I'll go hide.
Yeah, we'll go into hiding, both of us. We'll go live in a cave together.
a year's hiatus, man.
Folks, I'm so sorry about my hair. It's so warm in here. If you're not watching this live, there is a ridiculous heat wave in the UK here. So if I look like an ogre, and I know Bruce, you were saying you're sweating, just, you know what, follow us on Instagram. You can see what we actually want to look like on that. So Ebba says, did you draw inspiration from any fictional character when you're in character as Nils? Thank you, Ebba.
Good question. The one that springs to mind pretty vividly is probably Joker.
Yeah.
Especially there's a moment when he's finished the monologue, he's about to leave the room, but he bows.
Yeah.
Like you've just finished a performance, or like you're having a round of applause. The round of applause is in Neil's head, but it has like a Joker slash kind of the elegance of of how the Joker holds himself as well. Yeah, it's cool. And the whole psychopath theme.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit cliche to say that it was inspired by the Joker.
What did you think about the Joker film, the one with oh my word, Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
good.
I loved it too. It was really controversial, but I do love it. We've gotten loads of questions in. Thanks, folks. Please do keep on asking the questions in the comments box. Sian is in our lovely broadcast, and she's doing a fantastic job controlling and selecting them all. So, Sian, what is next? Go for. Oh, we've got two from. We've got one from here from Tom Harkness. How did you feel about the final product? Was it how you expected? Well, Bruce, I'm going to come to you with that one. What did you think?
You had so much tension in the edit that it wasn't there on the day, because we're all there getting stuck in the tension. The atmosphere is really friendly, so the atmosphere on set is something that I kept in my head, and I was like, how are we going to create this tension for then Nils to pull out a gun? And I was like, well, it's got to be done in the editing, and the editing is spot on. And the music, it really did help create all the tension, and the final product was it was much better than I could have imagined. So I'm just I didn't know how it was going to look. I didn't know. I mean, I did, but I know that I'm quite often wrong. So I was just overthinking it a little bit too much.
Yeah. The fact that because for me, I have a certain idea of what it's going to look like when I'm writing it in my head, and I think, especially because we filmed it in the middle of a pandemic where we had so much cleaning products, and we had to think of so much, like we had a risk assessment that was like as long as my arm. We had to keep on doing stuff. So for me, usually when I'm in that kind of that director mode, I'm seeing everything as I want it to look in like the cinema on screen. And then the fact that when we were editing it with Tom Harkness, our editor, and also Devon George, who was doing our sound design, they were both working from home and doing it on their computers in tiny little rooms, which usually you'd have had like a proper studio. And to say that we did that was perfect. And Summer as well was our color graders, and she actually went into Sticks and Glass to do that, which was brilliant. And I think for me, this has come out better than I expected, to be honest. I think it's so nice.
You're proud of it, Gabe. You should be really, really proud of it.
Thank you. I really am, I really am. Because, for me, and I've said this on a few live streams, is that realistically, you can have as much fun as you want on set, but it's all about the experiences around it and after it and before it. And it's always just such a pleasure to work with this team on this. It's absolutely fantastic. I think we've got two questions coming up here. So we've got one. There's one from Rose, which is very similar to one from another person who submitted. So we want to name both of them. So Rose McLaughlin is a fabulous director of photography. Any favourite moments on set? And I think Kat says, "What was your favourite moment on set?" So yeah, Bruce, any favourite moments from you on set?
For me personally, it was when I finished the monologue, because it was something that I was obviously preparing for. It was one of the main bits that I was worried about. So to do that, get it all out in just a few takes, it felt really good. But like in terms of like my favorite moments on set with everyone else, like how it is. Yeah. The Oxygen film set is a vibe. The whole like it's just creating an environment for an actor to work in and to work in at their best is really it's a skill that like directors either have or haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you do, but you also incorporate that, like you also make it like a general vibe for the set as well. Like if everyone is feeling, encompassed, like interlinked, if everyone feels like they're actually here and they have something to gain out of it as well, and the whole the vibe on set is so important for everyone to do their job to the best of their ability. And I think with that comes a certain air of like, don't take it too seriously, because then it just becomes boring. I think we managed to get that vibe on set and really nice balance in it.
I think we did as well.
So.
It was so lovely. It was a real lovely experience, and everyone worked on it brilliant. I do want to shout out do a little bit of a sneaky little promo for Wretched Things Chapter 3, which you were also in, and the on-set experience you mentioned there about creating this experience in this environment for people. For people who haven't seen Wretched Things Chapter 3 and want to see Bruce in something completely different, then please do watch that. It's on Amazon Prime. It's going to be in a very different space. So we've got a question here that's going to be coming up soon, I think, from Quentin. I'm sorry. I'll try you said it. I'm really sorry. Quentin Le Divillec.
Le Divlec.
Oh my God.
Did I do that right?
Oh, en français. He asks, was it your real mother on the phone? I'm almost sure. Bruce, can you shine a light on that?
The woman on the phone is my actual real mother. Yeah. We needed someone French, and Mum was more than happy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, we recorded the scene in my bedroom with this mic.
Yes. Oh my God.
And my mum sat in my chair and took over, and I spoke my lines and she spoke hers, and sent it over to Gage, and he was able to incorporate it into the film. So that's it.
Do you know what? She was showing you up, Bruce, as an actor. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Aristelle, she was going for that feeling of the scene, really, wasn't she?
She was really going for it, and I think we did maybe something like maybe 8-10 takes here at home, and they just kept getting progressively more aggressive. And by take 7, I was like, Mum, just oh, sorry. And then I would think that the take was good, and she'd be like, wait, no, I can say this bit this way, I can say this better. I was like, oh, all right then, we'll go again.
Yeah. Great.
She got into it, so which made me feel good. So thanks, Mum. I couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, Bruce's mum. Much appreciated. And we've got the squad here.
Then I just had the recording of the thing that we recorded here. We recorded the scene here, and I had it on my phone. And as I had it to my ear, I could hear my mum's voice. So I was just speaking in between.
She was so good. Gary asks here, whose idea was it to shoot himself twice in the same hand? That was dramatic and brought an intensity of not knowing what was going to happen next. Yeah, interesting. I mean, watching that scene, especially with the sound and the violence, and like the way it was structured, it's so tense. It's so tense. What was that like shooting that? Was that kind of, could you see how it was going to be assembled? Yeah, can you just talk us through that scene?
I didn't know how it was going to be assembled. I was really cautious not to overplay it.
Yeah.
Because like, I think I know what it feels like to get shot in the hand. How does the body even process that?
Yeah.
So I was just, he's so into what he's trying to get across to these people. He's so into himself and his own emotions that I think the pain really comes very, 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 very slowly. And I think he's screaming about the sight of blood rather than the pain. I think he's not himself by this point.
No. I think as well, one of the things I'd like to draw on is, just in case it was lost in the kind of the tension of it. The idea of him shooting his own hands was shooting his fingers off, and like that, it was everything that happens after the monologue is direct. Like, we already know exactly what's going to happen after the monologue, because he's already just said what he's going to do. He's going to shoot his fingers off. He's going to crack someone's head against the wall. He's all talking about the gun and how it mends imbalance, but the best weapon is fear, which is why he leaves them on that kind of bow at the end to be like, I'm gonna fucking shoot you. That's what he's like. He's on that cusp, which is, I'm really glad to hear, Gary, that you thought it was really tense. Poppy here says, have you done writing before? And are you excited to write more?
I don't think I've written before. I've certainly devised. I like devising stuff, but it's all like improvisational stuff. I never really kind of sit down and have an idea or write about it. I would love to. Like, if ideas came to me, I don't know if I can sit down and just with a pen and paper, blank pen and paper, and just sit and think. But I'm sure, like, as I get older,
it's happening.
I guess, yeah, I would. I'm not ruling anything out.
Yeah, do you know what I think? I think as an actor, you have to know how to tell a story and how to craft something like that. And I think the fact that you have done so well with this character and brought him to life, that someone, while there is definitely similarities, he's different to you, and you've done so many other roles that are so different to you. I've seen, in your Channel 5 show as well. So like, you are, to be an actor, you have to be a storyteller. And I think that's a really, really key point about that. Lola, coming on to the thing about storylines writing in season 2, I'm going to quickly get something up because I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. Because she asks, we don't know a lot about season 2 yet. What else can you tell us, Gage, Bruce? I'm going to take a lead on this one, Bruce, because I don't want you to do a Tom Holland and like ruin everything. So I'm going to do a little bit of a thing about what is going to happen in episode 6 in season 2. I can tell people it's called, 1 second, let me get it up. It is called Searchlight. That's not been announced yet. And all I'm going to say is, oh no, I've got the wrong one up. Here we go. All I'm going to say is, following on from season 1, this special finale that you've just watched, Limelight, starring Bruce Herbert, the final episode of season 2 will be kept under wraps as we attempt to push boundaries in a groundbreaking special. That's all I'm going to say. So we are going to purposefully keep it secret, like we did with this one. We only announced that we were premiering this one last week. We are not going to do any marketing or any promotion or any secrets about the final episode until it's aired on Amazon next year. So you can binge the first 5 episodes of the series of Light right now exclusively on Amazon UK and Prime.
It's out!
It's out! It's happening.
It's out, and so are my picks! Woo!
It's really, really warm. And obviously, save the date. You can watch Limelight on Amazon Prime in the UK and US on the 4th of September. That's Friday, midnight, wherever you are. So if you're in the UK, midnight UK, US, midnight US. If you're not in any of those, I did see a message earlier on from someone saying that they really enjoyed the film, but they couldn't get it because it's not on Amazon. I think it's Julia here. Julia says, I'd love to watch the rest of the show, but my country is not available on Amazon. I'm really sorry. We have been doing weekly premieres. If you're struggling, I definitely not recommend using a VPN, which you can download for free by typing in VPNs, Google free, and you can then select which country you're from, and it actually tricks the Amazon servers into thinking you're in a different country. Would not recommend doing that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And if you are struggling, just message me. I'll send you the links. Matt says, did Bruce have to learn French for this scene, or did you already know French? Bruce, I was shocked when you said you were going to do a full scene in French. I was like, let's get the subtitles out, but what are you going to do? How did you do that?
Well, I am very lucky to have been born with a French mum and an English dad.
Yeah.
And I've grown up just learning French. From my mum's just been talking to me in French, hoping I get the gist.
And you did.
I've been able to kind of cling on to it, but yes, I did not have to learn French. I already knew it.
Good. Yeah, well, that's a positive. And you know what? I think it added so much to the storyline. It was a real, I remember us thinking, like, how can we make this feel so much more personal to this character, to Nils? He's going to come into an audition room. What is the thing that makes him think, I'm going to pack a gun in my bag, I'm going to pack zip ties, because it's all premeditated.
Sure.
And it's like, what is the one thing that would make him do it? And it's that kind of family link, this pressure that I think we all know growing up. There's always that aim to please someone else, and to be it a girlfriend or a boyfriend or parents, whoever like that. And I think for Nils, this overwhelming sense of you've not done us proud is so awful. And I think the fact that it is in French, it's so personal to him, it just creates this whole new world, which is really exciting. I've got a quick question about the end scene though. About the scene where we do the Breakfast Club moment with the gun.
My dad loved that bit. He started laughing. I was like, nah.
Yeah. What was that like for you? Because I remember we filmed that on the first day after we did the buses. So we'd filmed the end before we'd filmed everything else. So for those watching who don't kind of do film sets and stuff, it's often shot out of order. It's not all chronological. It was a really emotive moment though when you shoved the gun up in the air. What was that like, having to kind of get into that headspace before you'd even shot the monologue?
I think I wasn't really in the headspace. I was just thinking about maybe the adrenaline leaving my body and what that might do, and how that might make me walk, and how that might make me. You can see he's like, he has his mouth is like, he's going through something, man, and all he wants to scream, point his gun in the air and shoot it, and he doesn't care if anyone hears him. He's done. He is the character that he set out to portray that morning, and it doesn't matter what anyone thinks. No one can tell him otherwise. So I think in this moment, it's not about making his parents proud or anything. It's just about validating himself in that. He's always known he's a good actor, but now he really believes it.
Yeah, totally. And I think as well, the thing is, especially with what he is and what he's proven, is that he's just performed a fucking monologue of his life. That was spectacular.
Yeah, and they can't even say like, "Wow, that was amazing." Like they can't even give him just a tiny piece of what he wants and what he needs. And it's true. Like even today, like casting directors really do not like to give anything away.
Yeah.
And so many times I've walked out the audition room and just been like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
For him, that's been his life for 2 years. And his parents are paying for his apartment. So it's 2 years that he has had for free to get a job, and he hasn't been able to do it. And he's just letting himself down.
Yeah.
Here, it's the tipping point.
So I think we've got a question here from Shan. She's desperate to be involved, bless her. She was on last week, it's gone to her head. She says, Shan on broadcast here, I believe Mr. Oxio's has an anecdote on his favourite on-set moment. I did tell everyone last week that I'd come up with this by this point. I've still not come up with it. So she's I need to think for a moment. I think my favourite on-set
goats, man. It's got to be the goats.
I never saw the goats. I was packing up. I was doing my job like unlike everyone else. Shan was there though, to be fair. She kept doing it. She was great. But I'd say my favourite on-set experience moment, like in terms of performing a scene. There's so many. I'm going to name a handful. Starlight, the fireworks scene when he's on the LSD trip and we see the fireworks blasting up, it was the most intense thing I think I've ever seen in my entire life. I think the scene in Blacklight where Charlie shaves his head off was just, my heart was in my mouth.
I haven't seen Charlie.
Oh, the opening scene of that is something else. So yeah, enjoy that. But towards the end of the film, he shaved his head off, and my heart was in my mouth, and I hope everyone in the audiences was too. And then it has to be the monologue scene from Limelight as well. The one continuous take, the one that we actually went with, because I remember just sat on the floor watching you perform that. And as someone who's not had a theatre experience this year because of coronavirus, it was like it was just such a privilege to be able to sit down and just watch a performer just do that. It was just so like, I don't know, it was so encapsulating, and I for a moment forgot exactly where I was. It was so intense and it was so beautiful, and it just captured the entire essence of what I want to make as a growing filmmaker. And so for me, those are my top three. But I know for a fact they're going to be eclipsed with season 2. I think we're going to create some really, really cool stuff.
The bar's been set.
The bar has been set. Alex asks, when filming, how was it filming with COVID-19? Miss Corona, how was that for you, Bruce?
It was really awkward. It was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, odd vibe. I had to kind of push through that to be comfortable, I guess.
Yeah.
Coming up was because I live in the south of England, and Leeds is obviously in the middle, north.
The north, please.
But coming up on the train, like obviously gas mask and everything. The gas mask? Face mask.
Going back to the World War, Jesus Christ.
Dude. Yeah, not sold on the train, so it was really weird. It was like it was you know, the city wasn't functioning, but I somehow was traveling to go and do my job.
Yeah,
it's very, very odd. But we made it work, didn't we?
Yeah, and we had so much preparation, I think, as well.
Mate, you and your emails about COVID health and safety guidelines.
I was really aware of, like, I was getting to a point where I was sending like 3 a day, just being like, hi, this is the updated shooting guidelines. You now have to do this. And I was like, we've now bought 6 million wipes. We're going to wipe down the set. I mean, just kind of go through all the stuff we actually did, because I'm assuming this is going to be the case for the foreseeable future until there's a vaccine, essentially, right? But we had, social distancing where possible on set. We had a lot of our crew members living together, so they were social distancing so they could do some of their own things. The set was cleaned every hour or less, like from top to bottom. It was mad. Everyone, if they were had to, come into contact with people, had to wear the masks, the face masks. There was a million other things that we removed food from set, so there wasn't any like contingency. And my favorite part,
snacks, man.
What can
I
say?
think I could survive without snacks.
Do you know what? We had alcohol in the form of hand gel, which you could drink. But my favorite part was the fact that in the bathrooms when you went in, I'd done these sheets which said, if you're sick of singing Happy Birthday for 20 seconds, here's some choruses that you can sing along to. And I got to choose the songs, and it was fucking amazing. I had Lizzo's, Good as Hell. There was Cher, I think, in there. There's Jolene, quite a few other ones. It was Harry Styles, David Bowie, I think, was one of them. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I think that has to be that's going to be what it's going to be like for the future. What about you for the future, Bruce? What are you doing? What's next for you?
A few things. This weekend I'm shooting a little thing with some friends.
Nice.
And that'll be going on YouTube. Just a little project to keep me alive,
Yeah.
to keep me creatively, I guess. I got to do something. So the work's not happening right now because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get involved with as many things as possible.
Yeah.
But we have that going on this weekend. And then what am I doing before the end of the year? I think we might want to start season 2 of a series of Light.
I mean, do you know what? My Fridays are pretty free now. Let's get riding.
Right. Gabe Oxley. Yes. But in terms of like work, yeah, things are pretty chill. Everything can change in a week. Not much going on right now. So I'm just waiting and keeping my eyes open and keeping tabs of what's going on as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, if a writer or director is watching this, Adam Leonard Burns is Bruce's agent at Revolution Talent. Please drop him an email with some jobs going, because as you all have seen in Limelight, Bruce is a fucking awesome talent, and he needs to be on screen, any screen. I just want to watch you all the time, to be honest, like, not in a creepy way, in like I want to watch you perform type thing. No, I'm right. I'm calling it done. I'm done. I'm over it. Bruce, where can we find you, my love? I want to have everyone go follow you, and I want to stalk you as well. Where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't post too much, so don't expect regular content.
Yeah.
Don't expect any vlogs or house tours.
No.
Or a day in the life.
No TikToks from you, Bruce.
Life ones.
You're not going to do any of those awkward dances, and TikTok's banned now, anyway, isn't it?
Is it?
Good. Yeah. So that's where we can find you, and hopefully we can see you on television and cinema screens very soon. You can also follow me, my loves, at Gage Oxley on Instagram and Twitter. I put some right shite on there, so come follow me. And I'll also do some posts about season 2, like some special secret stuff. So if you are keen to know more about season 2, give me a follow. And you can also subscribe here and follow Oxygen Film. That's not Oxygen Films with an S, because some bastard stole it, the actual handle with an S. But we're better. We've got more followers than them. At Oxygen Film on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll also be posting some stuff on there. Bruce, my love, I love you so much. I adore you so much. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to work with you. Thank you for joining us today. And for folks in the comments and watching this live, thank you so much for joining us too on this very special day. Please do keep on supporting independent film, independent artists, independent creators. Shan in broadcast, thank you so much. And also a massive shout out to the fabulous crew who are in our broadcast room with Shan. She's done a fantastic job, and so have they. Any closing remarks from you, Bruce?
Thank you for making all of this possible, Gage, because you are the train conductor, and Oxygen Films is the train. So well,
thank you very much. I think we'll yeah. I think Shan's just commented the fat conductor in the chat. So we'll see that. But guys, thank you so much. If you've got any questions after this is finished, I am going to be around. Like I don't have a life, so please do feel free to comment afterwards. For now, thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you on the other side.
Bye.